One. All right, everybody, welcome back. I'm Thrifty Senpai, joined here with LCAD, and it is time for a new season of the Swain Batty League.
Hey, I'm ready to go, man. Already we see the Kled man coming out. Mad respect out the gate.
Yeah, no doubt whatsoever about that. Actually, there's a huge thing of
Seems you left your
Thunder
brave
actually
pants at
just
home.
hit Diamond.
Want me to
in
wait while you go get
Flex,
them?
but he's the only Diamond in the
Ooh.
league. So, and we're seeing him beat two bans right off the bat. Those are kind of like his two de facto champions.
Now the Nocturne band is a little bit interesting. I guess I haven't been following the BDE team's scrims and play super closely. Has Nocturne become one of? I think 30 is the one that's going to be jungling. Has Nocturne become one of his go-tos?
So yeah, 30 is their jungler, and he's been. That's been kind of like one of his comfort picks from like previous times when he's played jungle. In general, most of his match history I looked was like Briar, Nocturne, and then there was a couple other champs like right after it. But like those are the two most played.
Interesting. So do you think the Zac ban is? Okay. Going with the targeted bans. Ooh, now Maokai. I'm a little bit dated on exactly what the current meta is, but Maokai is still a decent.
He's an S tier support.
Flex.
S tier support and a good flex.
Support.
He is also good top. He's a very
okay.
The thing is for this team, and then he's like, all right, like, but man, the best one is like, Tree hates this champion support. Is the thing. So like, it is a flex pick, but like, it might just be a top. But like, it is a really strong support. So like, there's this kind of like that mix and match there. I feel like Briar's probably going to be a very contested champ between this. I think there's like a couple teams here that are all playing the Briar a good amount. And I like that pick. Off of
yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Off of the Nocturne ban here, you go ahead, you hit Nocturne Zac, and then you pick up the Briar. You've taken away the three primary junglers that 30's been playing. The Udyr's been a comfort pick for Thunder. We've been seeing it in his scrim games. It's been a very clear number 3.
Ooh, the Vi. Do we think that's going to be a 30 Vi then?
Yeah, I would expect so.
I would have to assume so.
He does have some games on it, but it's definitely less than the others. So.
Well, I guess we'll see how impactful he can be on it.
Yeah. The interesting thing here is that I do like the fact, though, they still have this Maokai, like, floating as a flex pick here.
To just kind of do whatever they want with it.
Exactly.
Maybe think about counterpicking the Udyr.
Get your opponent guessing, right? Like sure, it's not Tree's favorite champ, but Tree definitely can play it, and so there's nothing wrong with there's nothing that's gonna stop him from doing it.
Now, one thing that I want to call out that I think is interesting is that, and maybe this has just changed recently, I know a lot of the conversation that was happening in the early part of the season around Civibeard, and which is one of Thunder's friends, one of the newcomers to the league, but was being touted as if I'm not mistaken, was being touted as a Nautilus one trick. We don't see Nautilus picked, we don't see Nautilus banned. Is that due to recent changes, or do you think he's been expanding that pool to try and get out of that that kind of mold that he was put into?
So it turns out there was actually an interesting development around that, where other teams thought he was a Bard one trick.
Oh, Bard, you're right. I'm sorry,
yeah.
not Nautilus.
So it turns
Bard,
out he was a Bard
I'm
one
wrong.
trick this season, and previously he'd played a shitload of Nautilus.
Oh.
But he does just, and it is that he plays those two champs significantly more than the others, but it seems like he is just a general all-around support. But like when you look at the recent games, you just see all of that. Right?
No spark between us anyway.
So sure, the Bard is the current flavor of the month, but it's like it's not as steep of a fall off as one would expect.
So why do you think the Leona's coming in here? Do you think they're saving something spicy for the last pick? What looks like it's going to be their last pick ADC?
Yeah. I know that this team picked up. I actually didn't see what everything looked like for. Oh my God, words. Who all was playing for that squad actually, because I know they've done some rotations and everything like that. But I know that these guys did an additional scrim last week on Scrim Week. They did a third game where they lined it up afterwards. And the bot lane did not go well with the Bard, where it was roaming a lot. So I'm
Okay.
curious to see if they were trying to pick something that has a bit more lane agency.
Maybe. Okay, that makes sense. And then we see the Cho'Gath presumably being picked up for Dan over on the side of ZDE, and the Zyra that.
That's Cho
Is that a
mid.
mid lane Zyra?
That's Cho mid.
That's
Zyra
Cho
support.
mid. Okay,
Yep.
that makes way more sense than Maokai top, Cho mid, Zyra support, then MF and Vi in their respective roles. That makes a ton of sense. Interesting. I don't recall the last time I saw Blab play Cho'Gath in the mid lane.
Yeah, I don't actually know on what like if he's been playing that much. I have to go look his master. I do know the Galio ban was at him. He's been playing a lot of Galio. And there we go, the Jinx. It's a lot of pressure on that Jinx to perform here.
A lot of pressure. I mean, that's basically the vast majority of the damage. Obviously, you have some good damage that can come out from the Briar, but is at a
What? Hold
situational.
up. A man after my own heart? Be still my beating heart. I know there's no way. In the year of our SBL 2024, are we gonna see a Zyra
It is a
mid?
Zyra mid. I mean, Tree's on the Maokai, and
Yeah.
I don't see a remake being called for.
Nope.
That's a Cho'Gath top, a mid Zyra, and a support Maokai on the Xmas tree.
Yo, what the?
So here's the real question though: what advantages does Tree get from a synergy standpoint playing a Tree champion?
Oh, the important, yeah, the unofficial power of synergy. Yeah, holy moly.
Now, I know that in the beginning of the season, especially in the pro scene, we were seeing a lot of Udyr top. We were seeing a lot of Udyr tank top.
Yep.
Is that still the case? I thought there were some recent changes that reduced that a little bit, but maybe I'm mistaken on that.
No, there has been some minor changes, mostly to itemization, but the actual thing is like the Udyr's doing the same thing as it. That has been like his go-to play, and it's like normally like the tank build with I can't remember if it's Riftmaker or Leandra. It's one of those damage over time AP items, and you do Phoenix Form.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I expect to see the exact same deal here. But wow, I'm just floored. I am like just absolutely flabbergasted at the fact that like
actually speechless about the Zyra mid being pulled out of nowhere.
This is like one of my like all-time favorite champs in that world. Like I loved Zyra mid so much, and it's just one of those things where ever since support Zyra became a thing, like the more and more they pushed it, it just has not been able to live in the mid lane to that same degree.
Right. Now, do you think there's something in interaction that he expects with Galio? You said Blab was playing a lot of Galio. Do you think he has identified some sort of weakness that he thinks he can exploit there?
I mean, I think it could be the fact that, like, their team is super tanky. If this Briar does the standard Bruiser Briar build, this is a really, really, really thick team.
Very.
And not a lot of damage. So, like, the Zyra, a lot of zone control, a lot of CC, a lot of burn. Could gladly do like Leandries with Malignance, right? And then just like do a lot of percent max health damage poke with plants and everything like that. So you can get some like really, really high damage numbers. But I'm really curious. I am like dying to ask him after this night, like what was the thought behind the Zyra mid here?
Yeah, no, I'm super interested.
Because like they did get like a minor buff for it, but like there wasn't that much of a gain. Like, you know, I haven't seen anything on paper that makes it look like it solved the issues that Zyra mid was having.
So curious to see how this turns out and once we get some visibility on this in a little bit here.
Yeah. As we are facing
Oh.
black screen right now. Oh, there we go. There's loading screen.
There, we're loading. Also, I was just getting some. I was just being told that I am having maybe some voice quality issues. Are you still hearing me fine?
I'm still hearing you fine. I think it's just people are used to your crispy mic.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
Again, let this be a warning to those of you who doubt the superiority of the desk mic, of a good desk mic. Good, not the Yeti, not the Yeti, not the Yeti. All right.
Yeah, not the don't want the Yeti.
I did strongly dislike the way that it sounds. All right, I am onto the rift.
Yeah,
How
I
about
am
you,
also
sir?
on the rift. We're 7 seconds, 8 seconds, and 9 seconds in.
Perfect.
All right, we are synced. We're ready to roll. Let's get some scoreboards lined up. And ladies and gentlemen, we're back on the rift. The SBL lives on for one more year at least.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
So how many, do you think we're going to see any level 1 tomfoolery? Or are we just going to see the
I mean,
classic football lineup?
30 seconds until minions spawn.
that's a great question. I would not be surprised to see it come out of Respect's team. I know John is one of those people that likes to get cocky very early, very quickly, but it doesn't look like there's too much. We're all separated. Everybody's on their buffs and chilling, so I don't think we're going to see a whole lot here.
Yeah, no, nothing too fancy here.
Minions
I
have
mean, I
spawned.
feel like there's definitely some opportunity for it, but you know, all comes down. We're gonna see a couple of boards go down, a couple people playing footsies, but nothing else besides that. And I mean, you mentioned that you were having chat talk to. I think that's an important point. Is did Wormbound Crusaders on week 1 commit the classic fatal team comp error of just draft super low damage with 80 carry?
I mean, look, if you're gonna do that at this point, Tuesday is not a bad bet to do that on.
That is true. Yeah, that is a very true point. Something also
Also,
to
I
note is
think-
that there is no Phoenix play starting. The Galio is for Dolphy.
Oh,
Yeah. I know the team has practiced
Interesting.
with a couple variations of this. They've done Phoenix plays in mid, they've done Dolphy in mid. I wouldn't be surprised if this is something that they do week to week, depending on what champions they're expecting. Like, what, you know, who they're playing against and what champion they want in the mid lane. I think there's a bit of a variation between their champion pools.
no, that makes complete sense. Now, I know we've been talking about the tankiness of the Crusaders a little bit here, but I do think we're probably going to be surprised by the amount of damage that Thunder's going to manage to do on the Udyr. Maybe I'm going to be wrong, but I think ultimately he's going to be the next most responsible for doing stuff on the team. And who better to have it on? And I also think that's the matchup that we're going to have to watch the most aggressively, because I feel like if BDE doesn't manage to lose through Dan in the top lane there, that the Crusaders might have a tough time getting in there. However, we see Cax jumping in on Blab here with a flash out early, gets hit by the shot. No, he's going to make it out
my
here barely, but he's
goodness!
going to get the return on the Cax, and he gets first blood. Wow.
Oh my gosh. Just barely makes it out alive. Cleanse and flash burn to save, but Briar runs a little too deep.
And Briar also blew the flash in the attempt to get that kill, so a large resource down for the jungle, a huge missed gank opportunity, and now I am so excited to see what Blab is going to be able to do on this Zyra moving forward.
Blue buff also donated. Something that you love or hate to see, depending on which end you're on.
There's some pretty aggressive trading going on between Dan and Thunder at the top here. He's able to get a good amount of damage back onto him. He looks fairly comfortable in this Cho'Gath, I must say.
Yeah, I'm liking the play out of him so far. SBL bad boy, being his bad self. So there's a little.
We see, the tree's going in on Stevie Beard. He's going to be able to get the knockback onto him. jumps to him, gets the stun. Respect going back onto Tuesday. Tuesday's able to turn on a tree and get the kill. He's chasing down Respect, who has to flash away. Civibear is going to get onto him, but he's going to make it back to the
Great
tower
cleanse.
and out of there.
That cleanse was real quick. But yeah.
That's some fast fingers McGee right there.
Yeah, unfortunately though, that was not the engagement they wanted. And Mr. Tuesday and Civibeard picking up, answering back a kill. I think this is like the highest level bot lane matchup that we can have in the league. So like it's a
absolutely
really,
it is
really important like to keep an eye on how this goes, right?
Yeah, I mean both of these teams bot lanes are really going to be the litmus test for the other two teams, and whether or not they are going to be able to have success in this season is going to really depend on if they can stand up against either of them. There's not really one where you're like, oh, thank God I'm only facing Tuesday and Civibeard.
Yeah, 30. Yeah. Boy, Thunder gonna go ahead and find out, suss that out. One worm down. 2 worms have their lives, but we do see Civibeard roaming up. Pings are going down. Power play to go ahead and get the last 2 worms here, I assume.
Yeah, it looks like they're just gonna capitalize on no Thunder, taunting Dan a little bit up here. Now, obviously Dan has to be careful. Sees that they just got the Void Grubs, likely knew that they were down there anyway, but doesn't want to play too far up. He's playing pretty conservatively, which is good. We do see 30 roaming down to bot lane and just kind of hanging out in Tribush, going into the Dragon Pit, not really going to come down to Respect and Xmas Tree at all.
They saw that ping they saw that the worms went down, and they said, alright, we have wave prio bot, let's go get ourselves a dragon to answer back.
Decent knock-up out of Dan, but not too much more happening. Cax being identified, coming in on the Briar. Zyra kind of playing zone control here. They're able to get that first Infernal Drake. It's honestly a pretty clean game of League of Legends. 6 minutes and 39 seconds in here.
I mean, we're very, very even. We've traded net gain on worms for a dragon, so a little up on objectives for the big Dirk energy, but other than that, it's a really tight game. It's going to be really interesting to see, like, once, like, we've already seen some, like, neutral objectives go on, but we really haven't seen, like, too much, you know, lane play, right? We haven't seen, like, besides, like, we haven't seen junglers showing up too much for impact. We haven't seen many skirmishes.
Now, we talked about the strength of both of these teams' bot lanes, and I'd say the opposite is true for their jungles, being that you've got Wes and Wang as the other 2 primary junglers in the league. I would say 30 and Cax are significantly worse than them. So I do think that both of these teams, it's kind of an interesting matchup, that both of these teams kind of have sort of similar strengths. Obviously, top is stronger for one and mid lane is stronger for the other, but at the end of the day, these are presumably the 2 worst jungling teams, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how much impact we actually do get to see out of those junglers.
Yeah, I think, like, as far as like a stylistic mismatch goes, I think like our match in general, it's really interesting because each of these teams has like a favorite solo lane, an even bot lane, and like a pretty, like, you could probably say, like, at least until we see otherwise, like a fairly even jungle.
Yeah, as far as we know, I think I'd agree with that.
See as that goes.
Thunder going in on a bad boy. He misses the knock-up.
Roaming up. He does have Galio available.
Ooh, getting a little bit aggressive, going in for that knock-up.
Yeah, 30's there, but there's way
silence. 30's in here, but Dolphy, Cax, and Thunder are up here and just walking away. All right.
This was not, what's the W, is the WWE Super Slammer? It's like 2-man enter, 1-man leave. This is 5 people enter, 5 people leave. Like, what?
Yeah, I was really surprised to not see them punished. I wonder if that was just a miscommunication there. They just looked like they had an opening and they didn't take it.
The fact that all 5 people survived, the fact that there was no blood spilt at all for that is just mind-boggling. Trey finds himself in danger
getting in on Tree, but a lot of damage going down on a Tuesday.
Yeah, Respect just putting out so much damage there onto Mr. Tuesday.
I know this MF is one of Respect's most comfortable champions right now. He's been playing quite a bit of it, and I think he's very happy to have the pick. And you can just see like a level of knowledge and comfort on just knowing exactly when to be able to turn and burn.
Briar's coming in, Galio's roaming as well, Leona ult comes through, Tree gets locked up, Hero's entrance coming in, it's gonna find 2 with the knockup, Taunt's gonna get flashed, Jinx Rocket's gonna miss, but Tree is going to go down here. Dolphy puts himself on the board.
Now you got to see what BDE is going to be able to get for that. They burned one of the global ultimates that they decided not to use on the top lane. You know, Respect wasn't able to get a kill, was able to get some damage down, but maybe a tiny bit of turret damage. But I really don't think BDE is going to be able to turn away from that and get too much of anything. However, one thing I do want to call out, the Zyra is up 20 CS in mid lane. The MF is up another 10 CS in bot lane. The only lane that they're not winning CS in is top.
Yeah, I mean, CS basically, like, their gold is even this game, and that's just the minions are making up for the fact that they're down a kill. Down a kill, down 2 assists. That's alright, we'll make that up with some farm. Get a good creep score.
I mean, the biggest gap comes mid, and I think that speaks to the difference that we already knew was going to happen, identified at the beginning of the game. 30's going in on here, but Cax is answering him. Sivir gets in on him, gets the stun. 30 is going to drop as he tries to contest the Void Grubs alone and gets responded to by 4 members of the opposing team.
Yeah, we see now Big Dirk Energy putting in a lot of pressure on this bot wave. They know the Leona was up for Worms, and they want to see if they can find Mr. Tuesday. The slow comes through, the root comes through, bullet time, and Mr. Tuesday, no flash from the last time, but Xmas Tree is going to pick this one up. You know John saying something about that there.
You would have loved it to go on the Misfortune. I think you're still really happy to get the kill and set them further behind. It was like we talked about at the beginning of the cast. Yeah, they're crashing in the wave. You know, it's like we talked about at the beginning. A lot of the damage from the Crusaders is going to need to come from Tuesday if they're able to keep him behind and not let him get ahead when he already had that early kill. I think that's going to pay dividends in the long term for them.
We're gonna see another
Dolphy coming
here.
back
Dolphy
on.
gets some damage here as rest of Big Energy working on this dragon. But the Wormbound Crusaders lie in wait. Briar ult coming through. There's gonna be the engage.
Onto the Xmas Tree, who's going to be able to get the ult off. There's some damage response, and they get it. The Zyra ult goes down to the middle, knocking up Sivir, but ultimately not enough damage going back. Tree's going to survive a little bit longer, but Zyra falls. Tree falls, and 30 had fell prior to this. They end up trading 3 for 1, and not. They did secure the Drake in the middle of that, though. Sorry, I missed that.
They basically opened the fight with securing the Drake, but losing the combat.
Yeah, it's a little bit rough, and yet another kill does not go on to the Misfortune, sitting at 0-0 and 2. You'd really like to be getting some more gold onto the primary carry for that team.
Meanwhile, Dolphy and Tuesday are looking pretty happy. 2 kills apiece here.
Thunder's walking aggressively at SBL Bad Boy.
Yeah. He has that Leander's completed, but it doesn't seem to be doing too much overall. I mean, we got 2 thick boys in the top lane here.
I love the sound of Edir's laughter. That just makes me happy.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing here is that, like, this Udyr eventually is just going to be, like, a really powerful split push threat, but I think, like, that's fine for, like, BDE. I think they're super okay with just, like, having Dam be on Udyr patrol and just being like, alright, go do Cho things, go sit in the side lane, clear minions for a while, feast some stuff. We'll see you Tuesday.
I think so, but then that puts a lot of the onus on Tree being the tank if and when engages do happen outside of that, and he's going to need to weather quite a bit of damage and really give Blab and Respect time to fire back. I mean, it's kind of sort of what we saw in the last 4-on-4 engagement, right? SBL Bad Boy didn't really participate, Thunder didn't really participate, and BDE ended up trading down kills on that.
Yeah, I mean, part of that was like Renai was coming into that fight pretty low off of a trade off with Dolphy, and just like they got to have all the CC. Wow.
Renai taking a lot of poke damage here. I accidentally walked into the taunt that he was able to buffer with the Zyra root.
Yeah, and then unfortunately, like, had the cleanse go just like right too early. Was too quick on the cleanse. Was ready for that root to drop and that taunt to come out.
We do see Tree and Respect moving up from the bot lane here, coming to support their mid lane.
Yeah, nothing really to gain.
Looks like it's
though.
just going to be a show of force and then a walk back away.
Cac's going to go ahead and pick up this Herald here. Seems like it's going to be uncontested. The big thing to point out, though, is like there is two they have secured both the dragons. Oh, but 30, you're in danger.
Ooh, 30, that's a place that you don't want to be. He's going to face a lot of damage. Tree was able to get the ult out to stop him, but ultimately it was not in time. Galio's trading back on a bad boy. Thunder's coming in. Cax is already here. Renai's circulation is here, but is he going to be able to do enough? He does get a lot of damage back down onto Cax. He's able to eliminate him and buy enough time for his bad boy teammate to escape. Dolphy's coming in, he's trying to get the taunt and the wins onto Renai, who's going to back off a little bit. SBL Bad Boy is trying to buy as much time as possible. Ultimately, he is going to go down to Thundercunt, who's going to get that last little bit of damage on there, while Tree was able to come up and buy Renai's circulation enough time to get off. Ends up being an even trade-ish back and forth, but still in the favor of Crusaders.
Yeah, even trade. The big thing here is that they did successfully denied Herald, right?
Ooh, that's a lot of damage coming from Respect's ult down there for an 0-0 and 2 MF.
Oh, dude, it does. He's got farm is the thing. Like he's got the Ghostblade completed. Ghostblade MF does a lot of damage. Like, lethality on the bullet time is just so much early.
Cax gonna get found out with the Stryer's Bloom. 30 really just harassing Cax in his ability to try and claim that Rift Herald. Tree is gonna need to flash back out, dodging the lockdown from Civibeard, and not much gonna happen other than getting the Tree flash.
If he tried to degrade that at all, I'm pretty sure he died there.
Oh, 100% he dies there. Now, it really looks like the teams, for the most part, have split top and bottom for the neutral objectives. What is your opinion on the value of Dragons versus the value of the Grubs and the Herald and the changes that have been made this season?
A Herald still has the highest ceiling, but it is so much easier. Like, it's so much easier to misuse. And because you don't have the floor. Like, first Herald always had the floor, just be like, I get points, right? That's just not a thing anymore. Second Herald, the charge does a lot of damage, you have the maneuverability, but like, sometimes you just have it charge in and it just bonks for like 2,000 damage, which is like so meh for like how much these neutral objectives work.
Civibeard able to get the lockdown into Tree again. We see the Galio coming in, getting the knockup, damage coming back out, the knockup coming from Renai circulation, but ultimately Tree drops way too early. SBL Bad Boy coming in, gets the knockup onto 3. Respect is going to be able to get some damage out, takes Cax down. 30's able to get another kill. Dolphy is going down, he's going to tick down. Respect is still alive, he's able to get good damage onto Civibeard. He is not going to be able to run away. Respect going to chase him down. He's going to get him with the slow, and that's going to be all that she wrote for there. A 0-for-4 trade in favor of Big Dirk Energy.
Actually 1-for-4.
Oh, 1-for-4.
Tree died at the beginning, but he respawned by the end
of
of the fight because it's just a bunch of thick boys slapping around.
My god, I forgot the fight lasted that long.
Yeah.
The big difference in that fight was SBL Bad Boy involving himself, having that second tank in there, absorb the damage, get the CC, and let Blab and Respect go to work.
Is really weird where the Crusaders baited themselves into that. They saw the TP, like they picked off the fight, they started the fight strong, Stranglethrower went out, but they still killed Tree before it happened. And then they see the TP coming, and they're like, oh, we have 4v5. This stupid idiot's teleporting in the middle of us. And then Shadow just goes, lol, okay. And they all pile in onto him, and they forget that they only have the Jinx of the damage. And when the Jinx goes down early, all of a sudden now they're all just noodling out.
You know, while 30 hasn't necessarily been impactful across the map of, like, commanding individual lanes or really making, you know, the largest difference.
Renai, some danger.
Excuse me,
Cax
oh my goodness. Onto Renai. Oh, he's able to get away, maybe! Nope. He's got the knockup, but Thunder's gonna catch up to him. Bad Boy's there to help him out, but Tree's coming in. He's going to get the knockback back onto them. Still way too much damage coming back on a Tree. The knockup coming out of Bad Boy is going to buy him time. Looks like he's going to be able to get out of there without ticking down. God, such a close almost escape out of Renai's circulation.
Yeah, good knockups from Dan, able to make sure that Tree did not join him with the death there. But we see the pings going on. This time we'll get the Herald. And off screen we saw Mr. Tuesday picking up first tower for his team, getting them on the board. Oh no, they already picked up the top tower. Never mind, I am blind.
I think they just picked up the top tower. All right, Rift Herald secured. That is in the hands of Cax.
Yeah, hopefully
Like you said, though.
Hopefully we'll be seeing them use that well to take down this mid tower. But we'll see.
And Baron, the Nasher himself, is up and on the map. Obviously, not much going to be happening now, but that is a weird thing for me, not having played any of the new season. Just kind of the grubs into the Herald that lasts forever, right into Nasher.
Yeah. Yeah, Herald into Nasher is always the play now. There's never early.
No,
Yeah.
it's just it's gonna take a little bit of getting used to. A little bit of posturing back and forth. The ult coming out of the Xmas tree is able to get the root onto Civibeard into Leona. He is ultimately going to go down. There's not going to be much that he's going to be able to do here. Granting that kill over to the Respect and getting him on a killing spree, huge. You could see them so playing that and ensuring that Respect was able to get the kill. Thunder sitting at the top of the river, but I don't think they're going to be able to respond to anything right now.
Now we start to see towers falling down. Momentum really developed here for the Big Dirk energy. That Big Dirk energy is real.
Yeah, they are really able to slap that thing around.
Yeah, a couple towers falling through, and a bullet time just going to do a lot less damage than I was expecting actually this time.
Yeah, I think he kind of missed Thunder and kind of missed Cax there. 30's going to absorb a lot of the damage. He eats the Briar ult, and he is just going to get chased down. I think they're just saying, see you later, 30. We're going to get ourselves out of here. Cax gets the kill on the Briar, gets the shutdown gold, a good amount of gold influx coming into the team. Hey, they said we got the jungler. Let's have Galio on the split push with the semi-global up.
They need to
SBL Bad Boy going to contest though.
But a nice knockup. They might be able to stop this here. Oh my
it looks
goodness!
Like they're stopping it. Mr. Tuesday dropped from SBL Bad Boy.
SBL Bad Boy with a massive flash ult. Denies damage. TP's coming in. Everything's getting unhinged. Dolphy comes in. Baron's resetting. Everyone's re-engaging, but Respect, you're off on your own here. Finally, Thunder and Dolphy running through after him, but Renai's gonna find
ult from Tree coming in.
Big root. Cax goes down. CC going to Renai's circulation. Dolphy and Civibeard, though, don't have enough damage to back it up as they're gonna walk it on out. Civibeard's gonna go down on the back end. Meanwhile, there's absolutely nothing else going on the map.
Man, oh man, this really feels like a situation just like the last time they had a negative, the Crusaders had a negative trade. It really felt like they were overestimating their ability to stay around and continue a fight that ultimately, once Tuesday dropped, you guys do not have a chance anymore.
No,
you need to get the fuck out of there.
Coming in from SBL Bad Boy. Ping's going down. Hextech Dragon coming up in 10 seconds. This is Soul. About as early as a Soul you can get.
They have had excellent objective control on the bot side here. Even though they didn't have a necessarily dominant bot lane, losing a kill early, they've been able to secure every single Drake, like you said, immensely quickly. They're going to get Soul right here, and it kind of just feels a little inevitable out of BDE at this point. It's their game to lose.
Yeah, I mean, it's really crazy that it's like the kills are so even, the towers are so even, the gold is so even. But then they have 4 dragons and Soul.
Right.
So.
And up 2 towers.
Yeah, up 2 towers.
You know,
Yeah.
the little things.
Just a little thing.
Still though,
Yeah.
game is far from over. Everybody is still in this. Tuesday's still going fairly strong.
Yeah,
Honestly,
there's the
I
Herald
think
coming out. They're not even gonna ride it in though. He's slow rolling it. See, this is what I'm talking about. Like the Herald has a lot of potential, but like what they're gonna get from this is gonna charge, and they aren't even gonna finish off this tower.
yeah, that didn't seem super valuable. Overnight circulation, getting the roots on, getting the knock up, getting all that is 3 ults landing on top of Civibeard and the Leona. There is nothing that he is going to be able to do there. That just feels like one of those. You guys gotta be fucking kidding me with this situations. Like, what are you supposed to do when you eat 3 ults to the face?
Die. That's what happens most of the time. 3 big buttons, one man.
One dead
very
little
dead sun lady.
little shield sun lady.
Well, yeah.
You see them clearing up vision up top here, still just kind of posturing and setting themselves up now that they know they have a little bit of an advantage. They're gonna get some vision down, gonna get some control on the top side of the map. Thunder coming through, Cax is working his way back through, but it really feels like
There's the
BDE is
engage.
in their territory.
But I don't
Ooh,
think
the
they're a
ult
little
coming
far
out.
ahead. Galliol's coming through. SBL Bad Boy gonna get locked up, and down he goes actually. Big shutdown onto Cax.
And you see Cax continuing to get value out of these Briar ults, just finding the isolated team member and saying, look, one of us is dying, and I have 3 other people and you're alone, so I'll let you guess who it is. We see Crusaders onto the Baron. They do have the man advantage. SBL Bad Boy is still down. Crusaders all
But
pretty healthy.
Respect is just going for the base.
Respect going into the bot lane, yeah. Renai circulation, buying time, getting damage down into Dolphy, getting the knock up onto him here. Still not a ton happening. They're just kind of keeping
Baron
them off
goes
the Baron,
down,
buying time.
comes through. X's
Oh,
trees
that's
down.
a lot of damage onto Tree. It's going to drop.
But meanwhile, that's in him. Baron secured with a kill to boot. But at what cost?
My god, man, what a back and forth game we have in our hands.
Yeah, refuse. They refuse to make this a clear-cut game for either of them. And I am here for it.
Absolutely.
Man, there is a lot of pressure to make something happen with this Baron.
Absolutely. I mean, they gave up a lot. They gave up a tower and an inhib for it. They did get a kill alongside of it, which does help. Oh yeah, 2 towers.
Yeah.
I forgot the first tower. I forgot the second tower was still standing. Yeah, that's a lot of map pressure. That's a lot of gold. Now, hopefully they're going to be able to answer it on this mid lane that they were able to get down with the Herald earlier. But BDE recognizes that, gets to the defense of the tier 2 mid lane, and is just trying to kind of saying, "Come at us, bro."
Yeah, that Hextech Soul doing a lot to help with the wave clear. That Chain Lightning. As we start seeing everyone splitting into a 1-3-1 here, we have Galio and Udyr in the side lanes. No TP available for the Udyr though. So people aren't
No, we
here,
do
and-
have Elder Drake.
And we're
Elder Drake in a minute 30.
Yep. And we see. I guess we're just giving up the Baron push.
Yeah, they're really not getting anything out of this.
Yep. We stall. What do we do? We're stalling so Jinx can get 3rd item. Oh man.
It feels like, unfortunately, it almost feels not worth it, honestly, with what they were able to get out of it. Almost.
Yeah, I mean,
Almost.
almost. We'll end up seeing the fact that it was bot inhib is like a really big saving grace at this moment, because it's like, okay, we can push this wave out and we're still in the zip code for this Elder fight that apparently we're gonna go ahead and burger flip over.
We're going to see a really spicy 5v5 here.
Bring in. This is your Subway's old news. Burger King is coming to the Rift. Oh, here we go.
Oh, 2 on top of 30. Who's going to eat it from the beginning? You see so many ults layered, one on top of the other, on top of the other, on top of the other. But ultimately, so much damage going down in every direction. Next Mysterious is going to fall. 30's trying to get something back, but Respect is being chased down by Cax. Cax is going to be able to secure that. Dolphy getting onto Bad Boy, who's not going to be able to get any knockups here. Civi's flashing back onto 30. Tuesday is bringing the damage. He's going to get knocked up, but ultimately it doesn't mean a whole lot. And only Thunder has dropped from the side of the Crusaders, and only Bad Boy and Blab are able to walk away from BDE. Looks like they're going to be able to pretty easily secure this Elder unless one of them is able to pull off a hero play.
Yeah, Red Eye Circulation is going to do his best here. Meanwhile, SBL Bad Boy says, F it, I'm marching down mid.
Ooh, Blab tries to flash away, doesn't quite get it. Dolphy's chasing him down. Civibeard's trying to lock him down.
Oh, Leon also got to guarantee a death. Oh, that was a little awkward.
Oh, okay, that almost looked like he fucked that up.
Yeah, that was a little awkward, but Leon made sure to complete the play. And oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness, what a shot. Did they have vision in that?
No, he just guessed.
I was gonna say, I didn't think they could see him. That's gotta feel good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, honestly, it looks like BDE didn't know where they were going to go for that engage, kind of wandered down into try and just got womboed as they were not ready for what they found.
The thing is, okay, we got the Elder. Now they gotta finish. They gotta make some plays here. We gotta get some waves pushed. Renai's down. Bad Boy's down.
Renai
gotta do
back
some
up.
damage to the map.
Tree holding off Thunder in the top lane, trying to do his best. Cax going to meet 30 on the red buff. He's kind of scaring him off, but not doing a ton. We see Respect and 30 moving off of the mid lane, but Renai Circulation now back alive defending the top. They're able to get the tier 2 mid. Civibeard looking for something over the middle, trying to get on Respect. Bad Boy eating some poke damage from Tuesday. And they're just kind of standing here at the entrance to their own base saying, yeah, sure, I mean, you guys have the buffs, but come on.
Yeah.
What you gonna do about it?
Elder is 2/3 the way through.
Thunder does not have the wave with him, is gonna have to wait for quite a while. We do see Inhib come back up from bottom, which is really big for the Crusaders. Renai might be able to hold him off. We just see them continuing to poke them out, knock them up, but Dolphy trying to go back in. All out of Respect, gets some decent damage onto Dolphy and Civibeard, but ultimately not much.
Oh!
Ooh, the knock-up onto Cax. We're going to see the Galley Wall back in, but the ult from Desire is going to go up. He's going to get the knock-up. That's a lot of damage going back out. 30's getting some onto him. He's going to be able to chase down Tuesday. Tuesday is not going to survive. He trades his life, but that is 1 for 4. They stuck around too long, and they weren't able to do anything.
There's a massive wave in the bot lane. They're marching down mid. It's Thunder against the world.
I will be so impressed if he's able to save this. The soonest up, we see Civibeard in 21 seconds. Shree going to be taking his turret shots. He's down to basically nothing, but ultimately that barely matters. Bad Boy going to be taking up the shots here. They've got minions coming in onto the Nexus turrets. Thunder trying to save his Nexus. He's able to slay the tree, playing the tree, but ultimately he is just going to fall down. Respect and team getting the damage onto the Nexus, and that is game, folks.
Baron overrated. Elder Dragon overrated. Dragon Soul good.
You called it out right after they got Elder. They needed to do something with it. They were just standing at the entrance to the base and just standing around the edges of the turrets going, okay, we're gonna split push. Can you guys lose, please? We'd really appreciate it.
Yeah, and just like that, though, that is our first game done. And next up, I'll be seeing you guys on the Rift, and stay tuned. 2 more games coming at you.
Microphone muted.